Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Big Bitter Warrior. Today, what I want to talk about is one of my favorite books, and that's The Spook Who Sat by the Door. This is a forgotten field manual on urban guerrilla warfare. Let's hop right into this. All right, this book wasn't just a warning; it's a manual. The Spook Who Sat by the Door is the most dangerous book the government ever let slip through because it's not just fiction; it's strategy disguised as a story. This isn't about rebellion; it's about readiness. It's about what happens when one man learns the enemy's playbook, then teaches the forgotten how to fight back. The forgotten being the thugs, the drug addicts, people that society tends to just write off because they are deemed unsavory or they're just lost causes. I was a lost cause for a long time. Now look at me, teaching you guys how to do goon shit. All right. It's a guerrilla warfare case study written in blood, silence, and street training. All right. Let's hop right into this one. The mission is to train the ignored. The ignored, we just went over this. Now, this is an interesting subject. I just did a video on what you can learn from street gangs. Now, take that everything I went over in that video. Now, let's take that, and in this scenario, we have actually trained YNs how to be goons, capable goons. You just created yourself a fucking fighting force right there in your local neighborhood. Damn, that sounds scary, right? All right, something to think about. All right, so this book centers around our main character, Dan Freeman. So pretty much back in the day, quick overview of the book. Dan Freeman, he gets picked out of a large group of young black men to join the CIA. They realized that they had no black people in the CIA, so they needed to do a diverse hire. So they hold auditions. Dan Freeman gets picked out of many YNs. Sorry, he wasn't a YN, but gets picked out of many capable young black men. Now, he didn't just he excelled in his training and everything. He was the best candidate for the job, right? So he gets into the CIA. They train him and whatnot to do CIA shit. Then they decide that they aren't going to put him in the field. They just kind of stick him in the basement somewhere for his entire career. So he ends up leaving the CIA and he goes to Chicago and becomes a social worker. Now, what does this man do? He decides to start training YNs on how to be guerrilla warfighters. So he goes around Chicago. He finds all the pimps, the gangsters, the drug dealers. He trains them. And they go around and start fucking doing hood rat shit. That's scary, right? All right. So the mission, train the ignored. So he trained people that society forgot about, right? Freeman wasn't just trying to empower the elite. He went to the disenfranchised, street kids, gangbangers, dropouts. He didn't see trash. He saw untapped soldiers. Think about that. Really listen to that. All right. He taught them weapons handling, tactics, discipline, loyalty, history. Now, history is really important. I feel like that falls in like with identity, right? Now, your takeaway as a capable goon, you don't need good citizens. You need men who've tested the system failure and are willing to build something better. I feel like that's something that a lot of people need to think about because everyone talks about how, man, this fucking sucks. I hate how this is. Blah, blah, blah. Do something about it. We can build the better tomorrow, right? We can be a part of the solution. Okay. The city is a jungle. Most people run from the cities in crisis. Freeman turned the city into a battlefield. Now, this is something else that I've gone over in my last video. I also talk about this in my book, The Ghost Doctrine. And so, something to think about picking up reading. All right. Trains become exfil, parks become training grounds, rooftops become recon points. Now, your takeaway as a capable goon: master your terrain. Every alley, sewer, gate, stairwell is a tool when the fight comes to your front door. All right. He used the urban terrain as cover. He sought movement, stealth, and sabotage. So it's a pretty decent takeaway for you. All right. Next point. Building a cell-based insurgency. Freeman didn't build an army. He built a tight-knit cell. Each cell operated independently with its own local focus, but followed the same core doctrine. There was no central figure to arrest, no base to raid. Now, your takeaway from that is move in silence, decentralize leadership, compartmentalize knowledge, train each man to lead. It's almost kind of like, what they do in the military, right? Something to think about, especially once you start getting into those soft units, right? All right. Number 5, discipline makes the warrior. I feel like a lot of people need to really just think about that in everyday life. If you are not disciplined, if you're not checking yourself, then how the fuck are you how do you expect that you're gonna get out, run around, be able to do the things that need to be done? Discipline. Like, you don't need to fucking be eating little Debbie cakes at 2 o'clock in the morning. You don't need that next beer. You need to go outside. You need to run. You need to fill grass. You need to train, right? We can all think about that, right? There's always something in our lives that we can be more disciplined in. All right. Discipline makes the warrior. Freeman wasn't training thugs. He was building warriors with resistance, skills, and clarity. No loud bravado, no sloppy work, physical training, dry fire drills, close quarter combat, and psychological readiness. Psychological readiness is something else that people need to be thinking of, preparing. You need to be physically capable of doing the things, but you need to also be mentally capable of doing the things. Because if you think you're just ready to go out there and start fucking dropping Chinese motherfuckers that are falling out of the sky or whatever, your neighbor might turn into the enemy. Do you think that you're going to be able to physically fight or possibly unalive a neighbor, someone that you were probably just chilling in your backyard with, drinking a beer? Think about what a man will do. I use this as an example all the time, actually. Think about how people act during Black Friday, right? Pretty crazy. Now take that same person and think about how they're going to act when they haven't fed their kids in a week. Or maybe their wife is a diabetic and you're the one person that's standing between them and the insulin that they need to save their wife's life. Now you need to mentally prepare for the violence that is fixing to happen, right? All right. Your takeaway: you are only as dangerous as you are disciplined. Precision over rage, silence over noise. Think about that. All right. Number 6, psychological warfare and chaos ops. All right. Freeman's goal wasn't open battle. It was destabilize the system. He trained his people to hit infrastructure, confuse law enforcement, overextend the state. Your takeaway from that: victory isn't always in confrontation. It's in control of perception and morale. Think about that. If you fuck with the morale of the enemy, they're probably not going to want to fight you too much, right? Ever since I was a young man, a young goon, my father always taught me, you want to make the person you're fighting never want to fight you again. And it doesn't necessarily have to be from brute force or just sheer kicking their ass. You can just psychologically fuck with them to where they are drained. And they're like, man, fuck that shit. I don't want to fight this guy anymore. He just pulled out a fucking Power Ranger morpher and said it's morphin' time. Right? That's kind of crazy. What would you do if someone did that to you? Me personally, I would walk away. All right. Create fear in the hearts of the powerful. He created chaos without ever showing his face. Explosions, arsons, diversions, psychological pressure. Add pressure, dog. All right. Number 7. Culture is a weapon. Freeman taught Black history, revolutionary thought, and pride. He reframed identity from victim to warrior. Now that's a really big one right there, especially in the, what's the word I want to use? I guess the marginalized population. The victim fucking template. You're not a victim, dude. You weren't a slave. Your ancestors were slaves. The system is designed to kind of keep their foot on your back, though. So flip that shit on them, homie. All right. He created a code, not just a crew. That's how you build loyalty. That's how you build legacy. Your takeaway: doctrine and culture go hand in hand. If your people don't know who they are, they won't know why they are fighting. So that goes back to what I said earlier. Identity. Identity is really important. Me personally, I believe, like, I don't really see color in anyone. I see goon. I see capable goons. So the doctrine is the goon doctrine, right? That's what we believe in. So our identity is goon. To be capable men in society. We step in the void when that needs to happen. All right. Number 8. The final move. He didn't ask permission. The revolution wasn't announced. It was built in basements, back rooms, and barbershops. Freeman didn't wait for approval. He trained in silence. He moved strategically. By the time the system realized what was happening, it was too late. Your takeaway: train now, move quiet, build with intent. You don't announce the storm, you become it. Become the storm. All right. These are a few thoughts that I have and my ending thoughts. All right. These are your tactical takeaways for the capable goon. Train the outcast. Don't look for the perfect recruit. Look for the committed one. Use your environment. Map your AO. Know routes, stash points, high ground, cover. Decentralize everything. Small crews, layered communication. No single point of failure. That's pretty important. Okay. Focus on discipline. I'm going to say that again. Focus on discipline. Fucking put down that beer, you fucking piece of shit. That you're holding right now. Put it down. All right. Regular physical, mental, and tactical training. Every man has a weapon. Every man should be a weapon. Right? We are capable goons. Hit minds before targets. So, psychological warfare. Right? Hearts and minds. We've talked about this before. Teach your crew history, tactics, mindset. Train thinkers, not followers. Weaponize invisibility. Use misdirection. Become a ghost until it's time to move. Blend in. Right? Move first. Don't wait for a collapse. Prepare now. Act early, act smart. All right. So this is the conclusion on how you can use the Spook Who Sat by the Door as a guerrilla war manual. I highly suggest this. This is the first book in the Capable Goons book club. All right. All right, guys. As always, I appreciate you watching. Remember, get strong and get efficient at violence. This is Big Bitter Warrior. I'm out.